Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. I'm just booting up VMware here with my Ubuntu. I'm trying something because my copy-paste situation wasn't working, so I modified my, like this guy suggests, my VMX file, just to see if that will work. Let's see how this goes. Seems to run really slowly sometimes. Maybe the first time? I don't know. This wasn't going so slowly earlier. Okay, I think seems to be updating some stuff here. So let's say if can I copy this into no. No, see? It's still not working. That's a real shame. Anyway, it is what it is. I'll make do. Okay, so let's talk about where we're at. So last week, on the last stream, I was working on the open file dialog for the Linux version. And we got somewhere. We made use of this knock file dialog implementation that I found on a website, on GitHub by this Guillaume Chéreau. So yeah, I mean, it works pretty well. I had to make one minor change on the Windows side. We'll get to that. One thing I was struggling with last time was it not really quite opening the folder that I wanted, but I found a way to work around that actually. What I decided to do, and I guess we can go through here and just take a look at this. Where were we? So this is the work we did last stream, where I wrote here implement platform open file dialog on Linux using GTK. I actually think I committed this on stream. So yeah, and basically what this consisted of was, detecting in my CMake file if we're on Unix and not Apple, to find GTK2 and to use it. Little step here to be able to use it. Okay, so this is one of the changes that I made. I guess I must have made this off stream because I don't think I made this on stream, so maybe I didn't commit this. So here I have, let me see if I can open diff here. So what I did was input path may be a pathway, directory, or a file. That's right, I kind of changed the contract here. So yeah, there's a couple of things. I don't know if I'm going to go into too much detail. I think that the crux of the change is here. let's see here. Yeah, so you noticed how I used to call remove file name on the last opened file, and that was on purpose. I was passing in a directory. When I would do open file dialog, I would pass in here a like last directory that, or the directory to open in. But it decided to change that to be a path, and it could be a full path including a file name. So now I just pass in the last open file altogether if it's been set. Otherwise, it's going to be the ROMs folder. And what happens is that it actually behaves correctly. If it's a folder, it'll open the folder. If it's a file, it'll open the folder and even select the file, which is kind of neat. It does this on Linux. Unfortunately, it doesn't do it yet on Windows. I think there is a way. I just need to copy. I believe I need to copy the file path into this buffer, so we can get that to work as well. But what it gives us, if I can just run it here. Let me get this going here. Alright, so here we go. So if I hit Control O, you see? It opened the dialog, and it even selected Patriots because this is the last file that we actually had opened, which is kind of interesting, right? So there it is. If I do open again, there's still this weirdness of the second time, like the subsequent times after the first time I run the application. I don't know why, but the dialog opens to the side and it doesn't have the foreground focus. Super odd. I don't know why it would work once and then after that not work anymore. But anyway, let's ignore that for now. You see Polar Rescue now. If I open pole position and I open it now, it's gonna say pole position here. So that's kind of cool, you know. And just to make sure, if we go ahead and modify the options file here and just delete last open file. So now it should open in the ROMs directory. So now we don't have a recent file. And if I do Control O, see, it opens directly in ROMs. So this is pretty good. This is what I want, you know. It's kind of nice even because if you want to try all the different ROMs, you know, you can just do this, hit Control O, and then assuming the dialog has focus. That's so odd. Go to the next one. Yeah, see that too is a bit strange. What happens there? I guess because we're not really pumping anymore and we're blocked. There's something that's not quite great there. One of the things I read that might explain at least partially why the dialog is not opening in the center is that I'm not providing a parent window. We're saying null. So one idea was, there's a few ideas around that. One idea is, you know, I've read somewhere some other emulators that they create like a invisible GTK window. Maybe I think the size of the screen or something, and use that as the parent of the dialog, and that seems apparently to solve the problem. So, you know, if I am so inclined, I may try to solve that problem. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not that bothered. Ultimately, you know, I think unless people really complain about it, I think most people will be okay. And also I do wonder whether it'll really behave like this in all flavors of Unix, or if it's just this version I'm running. You know, this could really just be very specific to my setup. I don't know. Definitely something I'll need to try. Okay, back to the diffs. So that basically explains the nature of this change here. And that was like kind of like the, after last stream I was thinking about it. I was thinking like, how do I really fix this problem, you know, of it not opening correctly? And then I thought, well, maybe that's, you know, maybe I'll just pass in the path rather than like the full path of the file and see if that works. And it did work, so we're gonna stick with that. Is there anything else here that's interesting? Yeah, a little bit, but let me just see this. What is this again? Oh, IOStream. I probably should have removed that. Look at it. Yeah, I don't need that. I'm kind of working on a change right now, so I can probably remove that. Let's see. Oh no, it's not related to this. Okay, I'll take a look at that after. Don't need that IOStream up here. Platform Linux, okay. There's the initial path change. So instead of initial directory, I just call it path. So that's like directory or file or whatever. And oh yeah, this is kind of cute. I've never done this before, but instead of using the exclamation mark, I actually use the not keyword. I don't know if I'll really keep this, but I kind of feel like, you know, sometimes it's more clear to write the condition you want and then negate it, right? So like here I want to say if the initial path has a value and the path exists, well, don't do this here. I want to just keep it. Otherwise, if it doesn't, then I want to do this here. And I've often found that like putting just the exclamation mark in front of these parenthesized expression is not super obvious. Some people do the false equals equals thing or equals equals false at the end, which is I'm not a huge fan of that either. And I thought, what if I wrote not? Because that's totally a legit keyword in C++, and it is a stand-in for the exclamation mark, just like and is. So I think it's the very first time I've ever done that, but it kind of reads well, you know? So I don't know, maybe it's something I'll start doing, we'll see. Maybe it's not idiomatic enough though, so it'll just throw people off. Anyway, the point of this change was just to make sure that if the path passed in was invalid, we just use the current path. And I also, yes, one of the changes I made here was for the scope directory, I was passing in, I think I changed this. I think it didn't make any sense to actually try to set the directory to this to then restore it. Why was that again? I think I was getting an actual exception on Linux. Really what I wanted to do here is just, I want to create a scoped set current directory where I pass in no string. I pass in nothing, in which case what my class does is it just says keep whatever current directory we're in and or do nothing, but just restore the current directory. So it grabs the current path and stores it, and on the destructor it restores it. So I think I made that change after this. So yeah, that's pretty much the crux of this change. And then after that, I have here fix knock file dialog not opening in the default path. So that, yes, this is the change I was just talking about. I made it so that my scope set directory can be initialized with no path, which works because my code already checked to see if the new path was empty or not. So I guess maybe I'll show the code for this. Yeah, so here it is. So this is scoped set current directory. So saves current directory, changes to directory of input path if not empty, then restores if not empty, and that's the key, right? And then restores the original directory on destruction. Input path may be a path to a directory or to a file I wrote. All I did here was make it so that you can default construct it without having to pass in a path, which is an empty path, and then all it serves as is a restore to current directory when it goes out of scope. So then in knock file dialog, I modified the Windows version, and this is probably something I'd like to push upstream, you know, to the author who wrote this thing. So I'll see about trying to get this pushed upstream. This comes back to me probably wanting to you know, rather than do what I did here, which was drop in this knock file dialog.h here, maybe I should really go with you know, forking the repo and then using a submodule, a git submodule to reference it. Maybe. I don't know. Still thinking about that. And maybe we'll do that tonight. We'll try it. So yeah, so I changed the default path, and this is what allows it on Windows to actually use the path that I pass in, because it was not working at all. It was always opening in whatever was the last path or something. So it was not respecting it's not doing the same thing on all platforms. That's basically what I'm getting at. And here's platform. What did I do here? Oh yes, and then this is what I was talking about earlier. That this was causing an exception on Linux when we were. This would cause an exception basically if ever I passed in an invalid path, which could happen. So I'm not actually interested in changing to this directory. I just want to say whatever the current directory is, I don't care. Just remember it in case it gets changed by the file dialog open, which may happen on Windows. And when we're done, just restore to the current directory. So it's just a restore to current directory on destroy. That's what this is. So this is good. This is all working. So there's a few things I want to do tonight. So a few things I want to do. So one of the cool things is I actually figured out on Linux, not here, but on my laptop, I figured out what was causing sdl-net not to build in vcpkg. And so, and I managed to fix it on my other version of Ubuntu. So I was pretty happy about that. And I think we're going to try and actually fix it properly tonight on stream if I have time. And we'll try and open a pull request to Microsoft's vcpkg to see if they'll take it, you know. So that's pretty neat. So we'll do a little bit of forking and open source contributing tonight if I have time. Right now, what was I working on? Yeah, I think I was trying to rip out, yes, the knock file dialog out of the source folder and into its own folder, because one thing I learned is that I wanted to disable Clang formatting, but you cannot. Clang format's a bit funny. The .clang format file does not apply to the directory it's in, but only to subdirectories, from what I understand. Like, when you apply it, it looks for a Clang format in parent folders. And it's a bit sad, to be honest. I would have totally thought that dropping a Clang format into a folder would affect the files in that folder. But looks like it's not. So I thought, okay, what if I just stuffed one in the third-party folder and then move the knock file dialog in there so that I never have this issue. So that's sort of what I was looking at. Now I'm thinking maybe I just want to go with the forking and like maybe I drop all of this. I'd still need to do the Clang format thing though, so maybe this is a good first step. Now where was, I think this wasn't working for me, or at least I didn't understand why it was working. Let me see. Why did GL render get modified that way? Oh, I'm in GL render. Reset this for a sec. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why Clang format is actually modifying this file. Anyway, I don't really want this right now as part of this change. We'll worry about that later. So I want to move that out, put this here. The CMake lists, I had to do this thing where we glob third party knock star.star. Should really fix this at some point. Source group, third party. Okay. And come here. Okay, I don't see the folder. CMake lists. file glob, third party knock. Source subgroup, third party. Did I really not have a third party folder? Put this in here. Oh, I must have it down here. There we go. Okay, so it's just not showing up under my source. That's cool. Okay, and I'm gonna have to change where I include it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do some shitty adding source. Let's see here. Right. So I want to set in our includers the third party folder. This should just build. And it does. So if I do replace this with a submodule, I'll just place it in the same folder and it should work fine under third party. Okay, so that all builds. Alright, see. Okay, so it still opens in there, and if I go into somewhere else, like, where were we? Let's go up into Vectrex stuff here. I know I have ROMs in here. So that's the ROMs extracted flat folder. Kill this. Okay, good. Now let's see if the Clang format thing has worked. So normally, like, if I tab here and I save, you see Clang format affected this file. Now if I come in here and hit tab, error while running Clang format configuration file does not support Objective-C, and it actually shows this .clang format. So it is finding the one in the parent folder, so that's a good sign. But I don't like that error message it's giving. Okay, because it's trying to auto-detect this. Because it's a .h. I guess because there's Objective-C in it. That's kind of a shame. That's more of like a very specific to this one file problem, right? You know what, I could probably just add Objective-C, really. There he is, obj-c. I guess I could put none. Can I just do this? Error, unknown enumerated scalar. Okay, so it doesn't know what none is. Do not use. In configuration, none. Possible values. Well, what would it be if it's not none? I guess, okay, do not use means do not use, okay. Oh, okay, it's just a sentinel value for the enum. Alright. They don't have like an all. Okay, so let's put, can I put multiple languages? Language, this format style is targeted at, I think I need multiple sections. There we go, no more complaints. And it doesn't do any formatting, like if I show. Okay. That's fine. So, let me see here, come back here for just a second. Yeah, this is kind of like a, not such a great feature, is that it doesn't, for CMake you can't tell it to like auto-generate, let's say, the source groups based on the names of the folders. And I've seen some code where you can write some CMake code to generate that. I need to take a look at that at some point, because this kind of like manual adding each folder kind of sucks. I don't really want to be doing this. I could like right now just say recurse through third party, but then what would happen is that I wouldn't get this knock folder. I'd just get like knock file dialog directly under third party, which is not super great. So, I mean, I guess for now it's okay. Add okay, that's fine. Wait, why did this change? Oh, this was the sorting. Okay, no, I don't really want that. Can I? Ah. Okay, I did not actually reset those lines. It's okay. It will just move it again. Source, knock. Oh, okay. Source, take the whole knock folder, and just move it here. Yeah, I think what happened was that Clang format reorganized the headers, which is why those two were flipped. Okay, so now we're back to this. It's just a move of knock file dialog over here, and got this, and we've got this. So this is just move knock into third party. Hey Raptor, how's it going? Yeah, troublemaker indeed. right, let's get these changed. Like I'm gonna want to make another change to this library, and it kind of bothers me to have to do it this way. So just constantly make changes to it. So let's go to where I found it. Okay, so here's the fork. So let's try this. If we were to completely remove it, I'll call this add knock submodule. All right, and let me remind myself how to use this thing. Repository and then path. Okay. All right, so it's there. It's in the same place as well. Yeah, it's for the MP dialog stuff. I kind of wanted to do this because I have some modifications to make and I would like to push them upstream, so I figure it's probably easier to do it this way. If I depend on a fork of it in my GitHub, at least I know that it's always there, you know, rather than depend directly on the one that I forked. But it also allows me to make changes on a branch and try to push those upstream with pull requests. I think this is a good strategy. I mean, it's using the power of Git to make this work for us, you know. All right, so let's say we have it this way. So now technically it should build again, because nothing really changed except that I have a. Yeah, exactly. It leaves the door open to contributing back to the guy. Yeah, exactly. Okay, what happened here? Oh, is it trying to build knock turtle? Is that what I saw? Oh, okay. I know what this is. Yeah, this is my globbing that's trying to add everything under the third-party knock. Okay, so we're not going to do that. We're going to add very specifically the one thing we want, which is just knock file dialog. Honestly, actually, I shouldn't even be doing globbing here. I should just be setting. Hey, Moosey boy. Oh man. Yeah. 4 o'clock for you. Alright, man. Thanks. Maybe I'll catch you next time. Okay, so Yeah, don't want to really glob all of this. I just want to add yeah, I guess I sort of just want to do a set here, don't I? Or you know what, just leave it like this. In case I ever want to glob more. In this case, it's a glob is useless because it's going to match exactly one thing, but it's okay. Will it run the CMake if I do this? Yeah. And there it is with the one file. Perfect. Add knock as submodule. And let's redo the change that I had made, which was this one here. Can I actually just, will this actually work if I cherry pick it? Yeah, it won't work because it's not really the same thing. It's no longer in my repo. But that's okay, let's just make this change. So this is really in knock file dialog. We had like this. So it was in the first one, yeah, for the Windows. So just like if I undo this change, this is like what we're gonna see, okay? So by default, the way this library works, see, it's opening in the same directory, right? Now, here's the thing: if I delete that directory from the options, if I delete this path, what I want it to do is open in the ROMs folder by default, which is the behavior I'm looking for. But see, it goes back into the same directory as last time. And the reason for that is for Windows, if you pass in the same path or even null every time, it defaults to opening whatever was the last place you had opened. It actually looks it up in the registry, which I mean is not terrible, but it's not exactly what I was hoping for. So, you know, if I want full control and I want it to be consistent across platforms, I think it's better that if I do, you know, and also if I do pass a path, I don't want it to be completely ignored. It is completely ignored. If I really wanted that behavior, I could just pass in null explicitly here. But that's not what's happening, right? So if I hook this up, on the other hand, now when we open, it should open in the ROMs folder. And it does, indeed. So that's fine. That's what I wanted. So now, for this change, we're actually going to have to go into our submodule. I'm going to make my own branch here. And I'll say actually, you know what? Let's before we even commit this, let's do the other thing that's potentially missing here. Let me remind myself, what does default name mean? Set current file name, set current name. Oh yeah, that's the name for like the save as. That's if you don't actually have a file and you want to give it a name. Okay. So I don't care too much about that, but let me see if I could copy this default path into here, what would happen. Because I suspect that this file name here, if it is valid, it might actually select it, even when you do an open file. So I want to see if that's the case. I should probably do a strn copy, not Okay, let's see if this does anything. So if I pick a file name, okay, it doesn't seem to select it. Let's see if it actually did what I thought. So there's the full path. So it copies it in there. I wonder if it does it have that behavior on Windows. Looks like Qt does it. The file dialog worker would be set to dir. If dir includes a file name, the file will be selected. Okay, well that's cute. The default file name. You don't pre-select the required file. You can use the file dialog instead. Initial file name. Not what I needed. Is it because it's actually maybe I need to put only the file portion of it in here. Is that why? It does say buffer for the file name. What if we were to do this instead and actually use the default name? If it's a regular file, then we want having a lot of problems with autocomplete here. And I don't really know the file system library super well. Is the file name component. It's pretty simple. Checks whether the argument is a regular file. This is supposed to work. Oh, right. Doesn't seem to do the trick. I am indeed passing Mindstorm2 1983.vec here. So we do have a default name. Oh, wait a minute. Huh, that's weird. Okay, no, it's okay. It's just optimization stuff. So it's got the right string in there. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh. I just realized it's clearing the buffer here all the time. Okay. So really, maybe it would have worked. Maybe it's going to work if I just put the default path. Okay, let me just try it with the name again, since I have this code here. And then we'll just try again with the path, and maybe it'll go back to being simpler. Okay, so we see the file name in here. It's strange, but it was... Let's see if we use the path, how it works. At least it writes the name, so that we know that kind of works. So if it was the path, and we were to copy the path and just forget about the default name altogether. Yeah. Thanks, Raptor. Okay, so it looks like even setting the default path does put the name in, interestingly. It's weird, eh, how it, this is a really strange dialog. So we zero the memory of the structure. Let's take a look at the structure. So we've got our filter. So there's the LPT string file, which is the full path. It's also what we put in the initial directory. Maybe we should just set one of them. I'm really curious, like, if this will... I don't know if this is gonna work. I really hate this 132 dialog crap. Such odd contracts. Seems to do the same thing. Yeah. An army of programmers despises it. What are all these black boxes that are rendering everywhere? Jeez. Let's see here. That is the weirdest. You see these black boxes? What's going on in this page? It's awesome. It's like a little game, you know? If I move it just right, I can read the text underneath. Okay, so the file name used to initialize the file name edit control. The first character of this buffer must be null if initialization is not necessary. Interesting. It says the first character of this buffer must be null if initialization is not necessary. When the getOpenFileName or getSaveFileName functions return successfully, this buffer contains a drive, designator, path, file name, and extension. Now, if the OFN allow multi-select flag is set and user selects multiple files, the buffer contains a current directory followed by the file names of the selected files. For Explorer style dialog boxes, the directory and file name strings are null separated with an extra null character after the last file name. For old style dialog boxes, the strings are space separated and the function uses short file names for the names of spaces. You can use find first file to convert and selects only one file. The LP string file does not have a separator. If the buffer is too small, the function returns false. In this case, the first 2 bytes of LPT string file contain the required size in bytes or characters. So nowhere does it say that if it actually contains an initial file that it'll actually write that. Yeah, it looks like it's Chrome. Is there any trick to get file name field in the open file dialog filled with the default file name when called with the... No, this is VBA. So this is for save as. Let's see if this has anything useful. Looks like they set the same thing as I did, to a string file. It causes it to be displayed in the file name text box, but this file is not selected in the list if it exists. Pose back if you find a cooler solution. Oh, this is just about white car. I'm curious if there's... You know what? I don't think this is worth it. I don't really care about having it put the name at in the bottom of the text, you know, like it's not for saving, it's really for the opening. I was hoping to have the file be selected, but it looks like it's not something that's supported by this dialog. So such is life. Them's the brakes. Yep. But at least this change makes a difference, passing the default path. Oh yeah, and I was thinking of doing this on the branch. And I'll say use default path Win32 on Win32 or for Windows on Windows. There we go. So make a branch, commit on the branch. Show directory. Windows, commit. Oh yes, I need to set my config. For those of you wondering why I don't do this globally, I'm not the only one who uses this computer, so rather than set global Git options, I always set them locally. This way I don't make, we don't make the mistake, the multiple people here using it don't make the mistake of using the wrong account in a different Git repo. Okay, so we pushed this. Now in the parent repo, there's going to be a commit to go along with this. I'm going to undo this one though, this part here with the regular file name. Yeah, we're going to go back to what we had. Update. See now with this, if we go back on here, see I've got use default path on Windows. We could actually open a pull request right here. You know? Got a simple change. Let's just create it. So if he's interested, or he'll merge it in, or we'll have a discussion about it. But in the meantime, that's what I'm going to use. So let's merge this back here. Oh yeah. I tried to check out master and I get this. This is one of the classic submodule issues where you try and check this out and I get the following untracked working directory files would be overwritten by checkout. Please move them or remove them before you can switch branches. which basically means, you know, you need to do something like this. And now it'll recheck out the submodule. If you haven't had a lot of submodule experience, it can be a bit painful at times. Hey, didn't I have a remote? Oh no, sorry, that was the other one. Okay, so we can delete this. Okay, great. Okay, so let's push this up. Now let's go see how we fare in Linux for getting all these changes. I'm going to all right. So if we go into, where are we now? Git status. So you're on branch Linux open file. Yeah. Let's check out master here and let's do a git pull and see how this goes. Alright. We fast forwarded and then if I do git submodule, it's update with init. So there's knock. You love out the red, yeah. When I do, especially when I'm like this, it's like super red. And then I bring this, and it goes away. Yeah, and I know, I totally noticed it. Okay, so we are at a tip here. We can get rid of this Linux open file branch, but let me just see if everything works. So I'm going to go into build, cmake, and let's just build. Hey Raptor, have you seen it running live in this VM yet? Did you catch it before when I was running it? Not live? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I have to say there, like I've used VirtualBox a lot. It's the first time I use VM Player, but I'm pretty impressed with it. Like it runs at like full speed. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you didn't see it. But anyway, I don't know. But you'll see it now, once it's finished building. Okay, so let's say we run it. See, here it is. It's running more than 670 FPS here. And actually, when I'm not streaming, this goes much higher. So, and there we go. So we can open here. So all this is working like before. There's that weird thing I was telling you about where it just opens on the side, the second, like every subsequent time, and in the background, and it shows this thing up here. Super weird. And you know what's really cool too is like the USB devices work really well. So even my gamepad here, when I plug that in, totally works. I mean, these virtual machines are awesome. Okay, so this is working. So let's clean up the branch. I was saying, let's Linux open file. Oh yeah, this branch, remove set console title. I'll take care of that on Windows. All right, so now look at the time. Okay, now so what I'd like to do now is go ahead and get us to no longer depend on the sdl-net that came from apt, and use the one from vcpkg. So I actually managed to fix this. So let's yeah, let's do it this way. I'll just make sure it hasn't been fixed already. Yeah, let's do that first. So if we go to vcpkg, I don't think it's been fixed because it was, you know, I opened an issue and there was nothing on there. So if we pull, but then again, there's always a lot of work that's done in vcpkg, like daily. You know, like here we can see, let's pay attention to the changes in ports. So we see SDL2 mixer got some work done. SDL2 PP, SFML, Thrift. You know, it's interesting. I learned about Thrift today. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Thrift, and it's I think it's Apache Thrift or something, and it's like Facebook, I think, created it, and it's some kind of RPC library that's like cross-platform. It works in C++ as well. It's definitely something worth checking out at some point. Okay, so I don't see sdl-net in here, so I doubt that it's been changed. But let's try building it again just to see. I think I have to do the bootstrap thing. Yeah, bootstrap. You know what? Actually, while this is building, I'm just gonna go to washroom and I'll be right back. Alright. I am back. Wow, and this is still building? Okay, no, 42. I thought we were like still like 1 or something. 43. Yeah, it's not super fast. That's one thing though. Because of like the issues I have with streaming and running a VM at the same time, I've kind of, you know, stunted the power of this VM. So it's a bit slow, but it's okay. Like right now, I just looked and my CPU is like at 90%. VMware here is taking about 44, you know, say 40 something percent. OBS is 30. And then other stuff like Google. All right, there we go. vcpkg is built. vcpkg. Install. There's sdl-net 2. So this here should fail. Now what I'm gonna want to do is I'm gonna want to. Oh yeah, that's gonna suck because I'm gonna have to build again. But I'm gonna want to branch this if this fails and clone my version. Actually, I don't really need to clone my version. I could just change the remote to be my version. Yeah, that'll be fine. I won't have to change anything because it's the same version. Okay, never mind. So this build right here should fail. All right, Raptor, take it easy. Yeah, I think I'm okay with the Linux file dialog for now. But yeah, catch you next time, man. Oh yes, this is working because actually it's building SDL2, which is a dependency, and SDL2 totally builds, which is great, right? And we want that as well, of course. The problem is once it gets to SDL2-net, then it fails, and I'm forced to delete both SDL2 and net because I can't have net be a runtime library and SDL2 be a static library. That's why I'm going through the build of SDL2 yet again. Okay, so, and there we go. So we built SDL2 and now it's trying to build SDL2-net and it immediately fails. And I actually looked into this and I figured out why. So it looks like it's still failing. I had opened an issue about it. I think I have to go to Microsoft or something. Let's just do this, vcpkg. Yeah, Microsoft. Issues. Where is my... Didn't I create one about sdl-net? Oh, sdl2-net, maybe that's why. Oh, here we go. There was my issue. All right. So that was, yeah, it was 7 days ago. That was a week ago that we reported this. Okay, so what we'll do, let's keep this open and duplicate the tab. fork it. All right. Okay, let's do this. Git. So let's re-add this and we'll call it upstream. Whoops. The Microsoft version will be this. It's the same thing that we see here. Why is it not working? And then we'll replace with my version that I've cloned. Okay, so now origin is mine and upstream is Microsoft's. So this will allow me to fetch from upstream when I need to and to merge it with mine. And now to fix this. So the fix actually is really simple. The problem is that the sdl-net package was built for like compiling only on Windows, and in terms of vcpkg, that is, not in general, obviously. And so it hasn't been ported yet. There's actually this ports folder here, and in here sdl-net go inside this folder. And actually, it's the CMakes lists that they wrote that has the problem. Let's do can I do like copy path or something? Oh, I know. You know what? Let's do this. Let's open this in code. Can I do that here? Oh, okay. This is like email stuff. Perfect. And so the problem is this. It's right here. It's the fact that it's passing these warning flags that are only for MSVC. So if you look in the output, oh, I already lost the output for that. That's great. Oh, here it is. Error building package. And then it says, if we go, does it say up here? No, I don't have them. BI. Okay, so this is the output when we build, and it might be hard to see. Let me see if I can. Here it is. CC error. No such /WD4244. No such file or directory. So as far as it's concerned, CC, which actually maps to whatever compiler is installed right now, it's whatever GCC is. It thinks that we're trying to pass it a file name. So this is really, you know, it's because it's a Windows, it's an MSVC argument, and so it doesn't understand that. So the way I ended up fixing this was just putting a, you know, if MSVC, whoops, if MSVC like this. And that was that. Is there spaces? Are these spaces? Yeah. Now, of course, you know, I have some questions about whether I should be doing more than that, because I see here, for instance, we're linking against WS232. IPHL, PAPI. I mean, I think some of these are. Could these be Windows only? I think they are. Pretty sure. Let me see. Even this, like WinSock deprecated no warnings. Excuse me. Let's take a look here. I mean, so technically all I needed was the fix I made. You know, and we can even try it. Like, did I save this? So I did. Okay. So let's say we try now to build. See, it built. We now have sdl-net and sdl2. So this works, right? It seems to be sufficient, but you know, I'm thinking in terms of pull requests, they're probably going to want this to be done correctly, right? Whatever that means. So I was actually trying to look at like other examples. You know, like if we take sdl2 image, do they have any like target specific stuff here? Nope, nothing. Well, they do have these DLL names here. So that looks like Windows specific. So maybe this doesn't build. Let's take something we know that does build. Does SDL2 actually have anything? Oh, it doesn't even have a CMake file. I wonder how that works. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Stein L PhD. Appreciate it. Yeah, so like many of these seem to have like Windows stuff right there, like here, you know? I don't know. I guess this is sort of what they're working on. I'd love to know, like, what's something that really works on all platforms. See, like, not all of them have a CMake list file. And you know, we don't know if this actually works yet. It builds, right? But when I go and link against this, we might find that we're missing some dependencies, perhaps, for the net stuff on Linux. So yeah, you know what? Let's actually try to make use of this library before we go much further. I got excited because I saw that it built, but I didn't actually try to consume this library yet. So yeah, let's see what happens. Because it's true, you know, it builds because it doesn't need, like, all these target link libraries and stuff are there for when we link against the library. So I suspect this might cause a problem for when we link, and then we will need to take these out. Yeah. Okay. So think I'm gonna have to delete my cache. Is there like a way to do this without, like, is there a way to force CMake to build without cleaning the cache? Like a regenerate? It's because the thing is, I know that I can just, you know, delete and start again, and that works, except that there's always the problem of repassing in the same parameters. Like, I specified a specific path or a specific config, and what I want to do is I want to run that command, but without the but like have it regenerate, if you will. And probably it's because I'm doing it wrong, you know, like I probably should. I don't know. Alright, whatever. It's okay. Let me just see if I have... Yeah, see like the build type, for example. But there, this is the one, the toolchain file. Alright, so let's do a remove CMake cache. So now I should pick up on all the ones from vcpkg. Let's see if that's true. Huh, see, it found 2 of them. So which one did it choose? And, okay, so for sdl-net, it picked up this one. Oh no, this is good. No, so this is good. vcpkg. OpenGL is fine. vcpkg and G2K, that's fine too. Okay, so it did work. SDL2 and SDL2net now are statically linked. So let's see if this actually builds. Make. It's the linker step that I'm worried about right now. I like this remix. Electrolytic Man by Majin San, Ambient, and Tomatsu. Okay, so there we go. So this is sort of what I was worried about. It's looking for DL close. So it's still looking for a dynamic link close. So it still wants that. SDL dynamic API. Why? Okay, and it's got to do with glibc. It's got like a dynamic dependency. So it's what? It's not building it statically? sdl-net API. Like what it looks like is that SDL has a dynamic API interface API that wants DL close. It wants this function from libc or glibc here, and it's not finding it. So like either we're missing a linker thing or we shouldn't even be compiling this. Error adding symbols, DSO missing from command line, DSO. So it's a dynamic SO. Yeah, those SO files. You might need the sdl2 devel package installed. So this looks like what they're saying here is you pass this flag to the linker -ldl, and I'm guessing this tells the linker to use a different version of glibc, maybe the dynamic version of it, and then it's able to link correctly. I'm not sure why I would need to do so. If you use dynamic libraries, for example, dlfcn.h, dlopen, dlsim, you need to use -ldl in the linker line. It tells the linker to link the DL library, which is located at is a switch data library. So what is this? Is this something like? So maybe it's normal, maybe it's that when you use the statically built SDL, okay, like when you use the dynamically built, then these things are available, or maybe it's more like, I don't know what it is. Okay, that's me. Yeah, so this one. So this one for Linux does not go with vcpkg. Would really love to go with it. Okay, let's just see if we added -ldl, if that actually makes a difference for us. Let's start with that. Let's go to our CMake list. Oh, okay, so we got a little bit further. And then we have some more. Okay, so these are some audio dependencies. Yeah, so I guess what happens is that when you link against a dynamic library, everything just kind of links, and then when it loads all the dynamic libraries it needs, including these ones for audio. But now that I'm linking statically, all the dependent libraries need to be pulled in. But the thing is, normally you want this, if it's done this way, don't you want the CMake list to kind of import these or specify these as public dependencies? Can it do that? Normally I would expect it to. Let me take a look. Maybe it's control? No. Port file.cmake. Okay. So there seems to be these options. VC package, library linkage, SDL static, SDL shared, for static VCRT. These may be for Windows though. VC package, install CMake. Okay. Not seeing anything about bringing in dependencies. This is more about building. So this is like a different way. This port file.cmake. It's not a CMake list per se. It's more of a just a CMake script that goes in like configure CMake, source path, prefer Ninja. Static shared. So this sets up CMake here. dlibc is on. For static VCRT. Then it does some fixing up of the CMake targets here. But which is the part where it actually runs CMake? It doesn't install at the end, so I guess it's already run it by now. Maybe that's what install CMake does. This is the part that actually runs it. Configuring it, that runs the installer. In fact, I think I understand. It looks like it downloads repo SDL mirror SDL. I don't know. We saw it building it though, so it does definitely build it. Oh yeah, so there is this possibility that maybe I'm running into this because I have... Why would it say that? Uninstall. Let me try something. Apt get the list. Apt cache list. No? Not list. How do you check again which packages are installed? Apt list. I'm going to remove these just in case they're somehow getting in the way. I don't think so, but just to be sure. Yeah, you see how like there's like sound and all these things. Live sound too. Like I wonder if it's just its presence makes it a problem, or maybe I do need it. We'll see. So did we get rid of libgl? Can't find OpenGL. Huh. I guess we deleted it. Oh, there's libOpenGL. Not libOpenGL. OpenGL 0. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of libgl stuff that got removed. So why did these get removed? Just because I removed SDL? Interesting. These are all the... Okay, these are all the Mesa ones. Did not install those OpenGL ones. Let's just put back SDL2 just to see what happens. Lib SDL2 dev, is it? Yeah, this adds a whole bunch of dependencies. Just want to see if this brings it back. Yeah, so now I've found everything. And then we'll be back to our problem of not being able to link. I'm really not sure what the right solution is. Lib sdl dev. Okay, so we do have libsmd-io-dev, so it looks like we would need to list this as a dependency. That would mean that we would be depending on this dynamically linked library again. Sound IO. Okay, let's just try this. And it makes. But, you know, we saw that we had to install SDL2 anyway, just to get like these extra dependencies. Like, there's probably a way to say though that we want. There's a few things here. It's possible that like by default when you install Ubuntu, you have OpenGL installed, and that in trying to remove SDL2 and then saying I don't want any of the dependencies, it ended up removing it. Like, what I don't know is in a fresh install, would you need to still get some of these libs? And it's possible. I'd have to do some tests. And I'm not like super happy with having to add this stuff here. It feels to me like vcpkg should be taking care of this. Although I do have, for MSVC, I do have these SDL2 dependent libs, right? When linking against SDL2 static libs, so maybe it makes sense that we need something like this. I could go back to trying to figure it out. Like if I remove it, if I clean up again, and try to figure out what is really the minimum. It'll be one of these or a couple of these GL ones here. Maybe this one. What is this one here? libxcb. XC bindings. Okay, that doesn't answer much for me. I don't know. You know what? I'll mess around with this maybe between streams or next stream. Gotta think a little bit about this. Like, and actually, you know what? Let's make sure this even runs. Okay, it runs. It's slow because we didn't build it with release flags. Like this. But it does work. But it still looks like we have runtime dependencies. Like this. Okay, so this still works. I forgot about --J. It's like multiprocessor compile. Just remember to set that in my options here. So if we don't do this, we should get back into the failing to link. Yeah. Oh, hey Chopster, sorry I just missed your message there. It's going well. Messing around, learning more about Linux and building for Linux. Oh, oh, you're watching from PS4, so typing is painful. Oh, thanks for thanks for going through the pain then. Yeah. Okay, so I mean this build, but again, there's this big question mark about what exactly is still needed when you have like a fresh install, and what do you need to actually install? What do I need to put in my README? Do I still need to tell people to apt-get SDL2 just to get all its dependencies? Like OpenGL, like the sound, like this sound IO, or do we say just apt-get sound IO? Maybe OpenGL should already be installed. Fortunately, I don't know. Okay, so it looks like it's those Mesa ones that got deleted. See, I don't know if those come by default. Probably not. I do use Windows, Chopster. You probably know that. This is a VM in Windows. There's Windows. I mean, anyway, I'm somewhat encouraged by this. What we can do. Maybe we can like just update this ticket, this where is it? Here. I was able to okay, after looking into it, the problem is in do you want the path? Problem is that there are Win32 or Windows specific compile flags being passed. namely wrapping this up in an if ms PC fixes the problem for me. This allows for sdl-net to build properly on Ubuntu. So when I attempt to link against sdl-net and SDL, both built. Oh, hey Jeff. Thanks for the follow. Are you actually watching? Oh, looks like you are. Hey man. You're catching me near the end of my stream. I'm gonna be wrapping this up soon. Package. I have linker errors that require I add Oh, that's cool, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff is referring to our mutual friend's stream. Let me give a link to that. His name is Raptor of Axis on his alias anyway. And he's doing a pretty cool thing too if you're interested in hardware and, you know, hardware hacking. He's taking his old mechanical keyboard that had rubber dome switches for the F keys, and he's replacing them with Cherry ML switches, which are mechanical. And to do that, he's got to do quite a bit of work, and he's using his 3D printer, and he's making like a custom PCB. It's pretty cool actually. So he just started. He's got three episodes out so far. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I totally recommend checking out his channel. This is what I wanted. Pass. Is this expected or should CMake file specify dependencies, public dependencies like these? And you know what? We'll also, we'll push the fix that we have. It works, right? We'll reference it. If they're interested, they'll merge it. If there's changes to make, then we'll have a discussion about it. Check out B, and we'll say fix sdl-net Linux. Git push origin, we'll do a oh, and yes, it is origin. Oh yeah. Just give me a second. I think I lost that damn token. I should just use SSH next time. I always have this issue. Just give me a sec. I have to do this off screen and get a new token so I can commit. Oh, and I can't even... I can't even copy paste. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna be right back. All right, I managed to push that. Okay, so let's go back here. let's link it to the issue that we actually opened here. I have a fix for this issue. On this PR. No, not that PR. And we'll put this comment. All right. So we've opened a couple of pull requests. We've got this issue going here. I don't know how active this is or whether, you know, I don't know when people at Microsoft actually look at this. I guess we'll see. But at least we have something. So I'm gonna have to stop here, guys, because it's midnight for me. But next time, which is should be in a couple nights, hopefully, hopefully I'll understand a little bit more what the situation is when it comes to Linux, what's default installed, and what I can rely on. I think I could very easily though go into the README file here and at least say, let's see here. Right. Maybe I should wait until it actually gets merged before I update this. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait until, you know, the note I wrote here it still holds, right? Until they merge my fix in, sdl-net doesn't build. But once it does, we'll have to revisit this. See, ultimately, I don't want to have to do this here. We may need to install still the sound IO, SNDIO, that's possible. Hopefully that's all we have to do. Maybe OpenGL. And then after that, the rest would just be the vcpkg stuff. But I have to say, you know, it's like you can't really get away from the runtime libraries. The whole point of using vcpkg here for me for Linux was to keep it simple and to hopefully have like a statically linked game, executable I mean, where I wouldn't have to pull with it a whole bunch of dynamic libraries, you know, SO files. But it looks like I won't be able to escape that. I'm assuming most Linux installs, you know, Ubuntu's and other ones would have OpenGL in there, so you probably don't have to install anything for that to work. But I don't know, you know, like I guess GTK would be there because if you're running a GTK based environment. Sound IO, SNDIO, have no idea, you know, and there may be other dependencies that I don't realize got pulled in with libsdl2 that have to be present. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'll have to like run tests on a clean install of just running Vectrexy without any dev environment. You know, I could probably do that with a Docker image. Anyway, something to look into. So guys, thanks for watching, and I should be back in a couple nights. So yeah, see you next time.